Hey, everybody, welcome to our Wednesday night product workshop. Tonight's workshop is extra special, in my opinion. My sister Angela is leading an Aroma Freedom session tonight. And if you have not experienced it, and this is your first time, welcome. If you're catching this on YouTube, welcome. If you're seeing this on LW and Lifestyle Group, welcome. And we're just excited. We're just so proud of everybody that's choosing to make shifts, body, mind, spirit, wellness shifts. And I know you're in amazing hands tonight, having Ange lead us. And so here's to you, Ange. Thanks for all you have learned over your years of practicing Aroma Freedom, and also just your own spiritual expansion and spiritual journey. Really excited to be here tonight with you.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that a lot. And like I said at the beginning, before the beginning, welcome to all of you on your various experiences with A, essential oils, and B, with this practice that is familiar to some of us called Aroma Freedom. And by way of introduction, I'm going to share a PowerPoint because I have a few highlights and notes to kind of get us started. I may toggle back and forth between sharing that and just kind of having the screen open like it is now. I highly suggest, if you are a little bit distracted, keeping your video off, or if you feel like you're going to be prone to emotion. I also invite you to keep your video off, just because this sometimes ends up being an experience that is to be treasured and highly and deeply personal. And so we're not asking you to disclose anything that you wouldn't feel comfortable doing. I'll be really clear up front that you'll see me yawn during this session. Those of you who worked with me know that that is my number one thing that starts happening as soon as I start talking about Aroma Freedom. My body starts to clear, and that's just because that's my physiological release of stress, of discomfort, of uncertainty, and so it isn't, as teachers used to say in the past, like, "Oh, hey, you must be bored. You're yawning all the time." Nope, my body is just doing the release thing that it does. Sometimes I'll be caught by tears and emotions, but most of the time when I'm leading, you'll just see it show up in a form of a yawn, and I will mute myself because my yawns are not quiet. and so they just act as a release for me. So welcome to the session tonight. If you hear background noise, I have a dog who loves to sit right here next to me in my makeshift office here in the basement. My son will be getting ready to go to soccer practice. I'm a busy mama, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that next. All right, so as we are getting started tonight, and isn't it ironic that at this moment, as we're starting, I'm also getting a call from my daughter. So let me just make sure she knows that I am not available at the moment, and I will get back to her. So a quick, by way of introduction, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I was trained as a teacher when I was a college student way back when. In fact, one of my first graduating classes, one of my former students just told me the other day that she got a notice in the mail for her 20th high school reunion. And I was shocked because it feels like just yesterday I was in the classroom with them, and it has not been since yesterday. It's been a while. It's been 20 years. But we started using essential oils in 2007 when I was a stay-at-home mom, a frugal stay-at-home mom at that, looking to save money whenever and however I could. I went through a divorce in 2011 that was quite traumatic and actually rocked my world physically, emotionally, spiritually, and really helped me reevaluate some things that were going on. And 10 years later, I am grateful for this incredible gift of Young Living, especially grateful for the gift of my children, and the gift of time freedom to have been able to spend the last several years working solely for myself and pursuing interests that I enjoy. So spiritual director and coach since 2016, that felt important to go through a certification process to walk alongside others who were experiencing similar trauma to mine. And I've also presented locally and nationally during wellness events, some of our own, but some that I was invited in to share at as well. I'm now remarried. I'm getting ready to celebrate my first anniversary with my husband in just a couple of weeks. We have two kids each. So between the four of us, we have, no joke, we have a little mini high school. We have a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. So it is exciting times here, and I'm grateful every day for my essential oils. That's where I'm going to land with that, which may sound to you like I'm talking about elephants. So let me give you a little context about what essential oils are and who they are best for. First of all, this is Dr. Benjamin PERKUS. I first learned about emotions and oils from him at a Young Living Grand Convention. He's a clinical psychologist who's been in practice since the 90s. He is an essential oil user and teacher since 2001. He's been trained in multiple traditional alternative approaches, an internationally recognized teacher and trainer. And he also authored the book, The Aroma Freedom Technique, Using Essential Oils to Transform Your Emotions and Realize Your Heart's Desire. After he did a practice of aroma freedom on himself, and in 30 days was able to release a book ahead of our convention in the summer. And it took the world by storm. He now runs the Aroma Freedom Academy, and I'll give you his deets later on how you can contact him. Basically, though, I want you to know that the Aroma Freedom Technique is intended to be easy and gentle, even if it does cause some emotions from you. You will probably come out feeling energized and more confident after we're finished. You can use it on yourself or others. There's no diagnosis involved. We use only Young Living essential oils, and it has been proven effective because during our evaluative practitioner training, we actually submit our records, which gives a little bit of statistical knowledge to Dr. Perkus and the rest of his leadership team to be able to say, yes, people are actually experiencing proven shifts in their confidence levels. So it goes without saying that negative thoughts hamper our ability to pursue our dreams. I think everyone probably can bring to mind either something they thought of today or in the last couple of days that brought them down. Aaron and I just had a quick conversation an hour ago, and a matter of fact, and he said, I know if I say this, that I'll experience that kind of negativity. And so when we get mired in our negative thoughts, it keeps us from pursuing the things that are truly in our hearts to pull and direct us forward. We'll get into this in a little bit more detail, but I think it's important to understand that in the basic 8 emotions, joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, anticipation, anger, and disgust, there is a relationship among these emotions. I once heard it explained, for example, that even though the anger might show up on the outside, like a tree branch or a tree trunk and branches grow out from the ground, the roots can sometimes be more difficult to discern. Maybe disappointment, maybe fear, maybe sadness, maybe grief. And so the more that we start to learn and be able to identify emotions and feelings, not feeling likes, but true feelings, that will help set our course of action because we've been able to identify what feeling we're currently having and where we would like to go. So many people discuss how to overcome negative thinking. There's lots of self-help books out there on fighting the negative thoughts, like literally fighting them, like with actual physical kind of self-harm, but also on a less scary note, fighting the negative thoughts could look like just arguing with yourself, right? Also, we've been taught through pop psychology to ignore them and just think about something else. You hear many times people will say, I'm going to my happy place, I'm going to my happy place, I'm going to my happy place, or we'll joke about our kumbaya spirit, okay? Those are all strategies that have been proposed over time. I am a big fan of a woman who's now passed from this earth. Her name is Louise Hay, and you may be familiar with her through her publishing house called Hay House. But she is kind of the mother, the grandmother, if you will, of positive affirmations. And really has transformed a lot of my thinking, understanding more about the positive affirmations and how to utilize those. However, what Aroma Freedom does is take those affirmations to a whole other level, because you start by dissolving those negative thoughts with the essential oils. Now, before I go any further, I'd love to know in the chat how many people are familiar with essential oils, because if you don't know what they are, that might seem super weird and a little bit scary to consider what it looks like to dissolve negative thoughts with essential oils, as if you were I don't know, dissolving a sticker with lemon oil. Okay. This is similar, but not the same to that. I really want to underscore how important it is that we realize the power, truly the power and essence of each essential oil to do miraculous things in our bodies, in our minds, and in our spirits. And so by bringing together a memory complex of thoughts, feelings, sensations, and memories, when we then smell the essential oil, we literally have a transformation or a shift in where our thought patterns were to where they are going to go. This is because the olfactory nerve that is our sense of smell connects directly to our limbic system in the brain. And so this is really simple brain analysis tonight. If you and I talk again sometime, we can go into more depth. I have another presentation that gives you a little bit more of the neuroscience. If you were part of our Ignite event, you'll remember back to talking a little bit about how our memories are made. But truly, the limbic system is the feelings center of the brain. And so our smell directly connects to our feelings. And a lot of our safe and unsafe feelings are created in that space as well. So being able to delineate between, kind of consciously take hold of what we're feeling allows us a look at kind of the limbic system from a human perspective. Instead of just allowing it to happen to us, we examine and take stock of where we're at, where we land. This is due to the amygdala that's housed there. It triggers that survival response, and obviously then smell acts as an immediate trigger. So that's why a baking pan of cookies can elicit really warm and loving feelings. That's why the smell of kale that's currently in my house right now, because I baked kale this afternoon, elicits kind of a like, really? Why'd you bake kale today? And so we can it triggers. Sometimes people will say, oh, I don't like the smell of that essential oil. And we have our brain processing the smell without us really even having to think about it until it catches us, either not so great or great. Like I said, brief history, because it looks like from our chat that many people are very familiar with essential oils. They love using them. Aroma Freedom is new to you, many of you. And so let's just be clear, if you're catching this on YouTube, that we're talking about Young Living essential oils specifically because of the way that they are produced through the seed to seal promise. This is a guarantee, a customer guarantee from the company to the customer, that from the time the seed is planted in the ground till it is harvested and distilled and bottled, Young Living has taken the utmost care of making sure that the process is done well. This is unlike oils that you can find off the health food store shelves, only because there's not a regulation in this market. And so we really are kind of subject to the producer, the quality of the producer, the integrity of the company. And quite honestly, we have used essential oils from Young Living for the last 14 years without any serious complications. So I feel like really awesome telling you that only great benefits have come about of using Young Living. Essential oils are complex and also balancing aromas. They are generally regarded as safe. If you do have any reaction, just a quick safety note, use a little carrier oil instead of water to wash it off. So that means a little olive oil or coconut oil, or if you have the Young Living V6 oil, that would be another another option as well. This is truly nature's gift, and the oils act as signaling molecules in the plant, and therefore they work similarly in our bodies as well. So what happens during an AFT session? First of all, and I'm going to break this process down for you step by step, but this is just I thought it was a really good image of the overall process. You're probably going to assess or create, this is the experiential part, a goal that you may have for yourself. Consider the negative thought that goes with it, maybe the negative feeling it elicits, where you feel that in your body, a memory of the time that you felt the same way. And then as you smell the essential oil, you'll start to feel a shift. The memory may dissolve, the body relaxes, perhaps the feelings release in some way, and perhaps you start to find that the negative thoughts are disappearing, or at least providing you insight that you may not have had before, and therefore hope and confidence start to emerge. So I told you earlier, you're probably going to want to grab your oils. So these are the recommended grouping of oils that you need for aroma freedom. Lavender, frankincense, and stress away come in our starter kit. So they're super accessible for those people who started with the best oily bundle out there, 12 oils plus a diffuser. Is just hands down the best way to unlock the savings that comes with a membership or a customer membership with Young Living. We'll use lavender, frankincense, stress away all together. So those of you who already have those oils, you're just going to use 1 drop of each, equal parts. I pre-mix mine in an old lavender bottle so that I have it on hand. For our next round, we'll use Inner Child. I also have done a couple sessions with Dr. PERKUS in the last month where we've been using Trauma Life. So if you have the Trauma Life oil blend, that may be one that you want to use as well. And then Release Oil in round 3. Followed up with one of the oils. I love how my friend Ruby K. Allred calls it a goil oil, or some sort of grounding oil that really helps transform your mindset and serves as an anchor for your affirmation. So that's just the brief overview of Aroma Freedom. I'm going to turn my slideshow off for a second and kind of check in with your chat and kind of see how everybody's doing. I feel like it's really important for us to just sort of have these understandings with each other as we're getting started, because the next part of our session is going to be about the last 90 days of 2021 and really starting to evaluate sort of where you are, where you think you're going, and perhaps start to do some reflecting about where you've been. So for the experiential part of our session tonight, you're probably going to want a big glass of water. This is actually Zing. I'm a Zing mocktail girl. This is my Zing. You're going to want a notebook, something to write with. You're going to want to have your oils handy. I think it's also important to note that you choose just a quiet, less distracted space if possible. And if this isn't a great time for you, put a pin in it and come back, because I would love to have you revisit the strategy later when it can be most effective for you. We are going to utilize the chat a little bit. You guys have been doing awesome with that. So let's keep it up and go from there. So if there are no big questions hanging out, which I don't see any, let's go ahead and go back to the slideshow. And I've already given you that information, and I've already given you that information. Oh, here. So how do you work with me? So I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that I do offer an Aroma Freedom group on Facebook. Some of you are already part of it, so thank you all. It's a $50 a year commitment, but that gives you access to all of my monthly sessions in addition to a couple of extra special sessions per year. And so 2021 is going to go out with a bang in the Aroma Freedom group. We are going to launch a 90-day challenge coming up starting on Friday, October 1st. And it's going to be a surprise to everybody because God just laid it on my heart this week that challenges are not done in silence and solo, but why not invite your friends and fail forward together? So we'll be doing an end of the year 90-day challenge. If you want more information on the group, you can text my business text line. Just text the letters AFT, standing for Aroma Freedom Technique, AFT, and that number is 623-439-4910. And I'll put that up at the end of the session too, so you can write that down. But I'd love to include you in that. I do offer, like I said, monthly sessions, inspiration in the group, as well as videos and a video sequence actually that will take you through why the different steps are so important and how you can best utilize them if you're experiencing some blocks in the aroma freedom process. Those should help move you through that. I also keep up my continued ed with Dr. PERKUS and what he's offering. So you'll see an aroma wisdom coming in the next 90 days, as well as an aroma boost from time to time, which are other iterations of the basic aroma freedom that he began with. I also am offering as a special here at the end of this last quarter of 2021, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll do it again at the beginning of 2022, individual quarterly coaching. All of that information is on our website at livingwellnow.com/AFT. So let's chat more about how you can take what you were learning tonight and really transition it into something awesome for the end of your year as you prepare for 2022. So I think it's interesting to look back at statistics of the New Year's resolutions that people set for themselves. I think it's especially in 2020 and 2021, things have been a little slow, a little different. And I thought it was really interesting that 31% of survey participants were still planning to make resolutions for 2021, while 19% were still undecided. Y'all, that isn't even quite, what is that, half of the population? So half the population is like, screw it, why make a resolution? Things are a little bit kind of wonky and I don't know where I'm going to land. So I'm just going to go day to day. Is anybody else feeling that way? Especially here at the end of the year, like, okay, I don't know what's going to change. I don't know what's going to shift. I'm not sure what's happening. And I don't know where I fit into the mix of it. So I'll just sort of pretend like, it's not happening. The most popular resolutions in 2021 were to exercise more and improve fitness, lose weight, save money, and improve diet. And of those that made a resolution in 2020, back when everything shut down at the end of the first quarter, 35% actually kept their resolutions, 49% kept some of their resolutions, and only 16% failed at keeping any of their resolutions. So really quite promising numbers, even though when we look back at our own experience of the last 2 years, 18 months, 22 months, we may feel like it would be a way more skewed viewpoint of that as well. I am curious. Some people say that they set resolutions so that they can improve the quality of their life. Some choose to lose weight. Some want to achieve a goal. I know many of you listening today or participating today are brand partners with Young Living. And so maybe your goal is attached to your rank or to a paycheck number, a commission check number. And maybe some of you are setting resolutions based on saving money because of different circumstances that have taken place in the last couple of years with your financial situation due to pandemic circumstances. So I asked yesterday on my stories, my social media stories, if people prefer to reflect back or goal set or vision forward in the last quarter of the year. And I was surprised. A lot of people mentioned that they prefer to reflect over the year that is passed. And this process that we're going to go through tonight is great for that. Your goal may be about your reflection, about maybe having a different attitude about how 2021 actually is turning out. Maybe collectively it feels really hard. But if you look back at individual circumstances or individual events that happened, you'll find joy and hope and expectation in those. Perhaps some of you will use this last 3 months of the year to goal set or vision for the year to come, kind of like chalking 2020 up as like done, check, over, let's move on. So wherever you are tonight, whatever you're coming with, there's room for you in this conversation. So the last 90 days challenge comes from this idea, instead of believing that the obstacle is blocking us, right? Whatever the obstacle is, perhaps obstacle is truly an opportunity. Or as one author put it, the obstacle is the way. And perhaps this is part of your journey to becoming a better version of yourself and who you are. So I've heard a lot of people say recently, let's just get back to normal. Nothing seems the same anymore. And actually they, meaning writers and researchers, have started to identify kind of this same sort of feeling or these same sorts of thoughts of blunted emotions, spikes in anxiety and depression, and a desire to drastically change something about their lives to something that they're calling pandemic flux syndrome. And it's everywhere. It's happening to a lot of us. And we didn't get this way overnight. So it's going to take some time to peel back the layers and really start to examine kind of how we've ended up here. I'm encouraged by this quote from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who is an incredible author, especially on the subject of grief. She writes, "The most beautiful people we've known are those who've known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, with gentleness, and a deep, loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen." So truly, if we can come to our time together tonight from a place of becoming rather than what we are, but who and how we are becoming, I think we'll find a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity in our conversation moving forward. All right. So this is where you start writing as I give you some prompts to get you there. I am super, super grateful for just the structure of tonight, to move us from a place of maybe a place of striving or surviving to a place of thriving. So evaluate your current life circumstances. Maybe I already started kind of getting you thinking based on reflection over the last year, or based on goal setting for the year to come. But start to name areas and just write them down sort of randomly in your notes. Areas where you feel stuck. Where are you not moving at all? Moving forward, moving at all. Where are you feeling stuck? And you don't need to write it in the chat. This is kind of your personal time with your journal, with the back of your calendar, with a place where you take notes on things, maybe on the back of an envelope. I'm not naive enough to know that sometimes we're just catching each other when and where we can. So whatever that looks like, where do you feel stuck? And then also start to name for yourself areas where you feel energized. What makes you feel, or what creates energy for you? So just write, I don't know, you can make it next to each other or underneath. Where do you feel energized? So we're kind of looking at a list of stuck and a list of energized side by side. So I want to be really clear and say that even after a few sessions of Aroma Freedom tonight, you may feel more confident, because happiness is always possible, but it's not guaranteed. So if we stir some things up tonight, know that we aren't going to leave you hanging. I highly suggest that you reach out to a trusted friend or a counselor or somebody who can guide you through some of the tough stuff, or continue to do some self-reflection and processing that helps push you through to the other side, to find that personal freedom that you're searching for. So let's dive in. Those of you who are following along, set your goal or intention. And then on a scale of 0 to 10, rate how likely it seems that it will happen. So if it's a goal, Are you confident that the goal you will accomplish the goal? If it is a reflection, are you confident in shifting the energy around it? You can start to use your oils now if you want to. Clarity is a good one at this point. Into the future, magnify your purpose, or highest potential. Those are a few to just sort of get kind of unstuck and get yourself moving. This is left over from something we learned from Bob Proctor in 2012. He taught at the Young Living Convention, when you set a goal, you can set a goal as if it is already happened. So I am so happy and grateful now that, and then you fill in the blank. I am so happy and grateful now that, and then give us, and then decide for yourself, what are you happy and grateful has happened? I'm so happy and grateful now that I have taken full stock of 2021 and realized that there were many, many blessings that happened. I am so happy and grateful now that I have achieved the commission check I am working for. I am so happy and grateful now that I have reestablished connection with my family and can enjoy the holidays with them. I am so happy and grateful now that I have been given a bonus in my current job. I'm so happy and grateful now that, fill in the blank. I thought this was a really helpful quote here on the side. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action becomes reality. So put a date on it. I'm so happy and grateful now that this allows me that by December 2021. Put a date on it. Make it small, make it measurable, make it attainable, make it realistic, and put a date on it. Make it timely. All right. Listen for the negative voice that tells you it's not going to happen. There's only 3 months left. You can't possibly make up 9 months time in 3 months. You failed before, you'll fail again. What's the negative voice telling you that this is not possible? Write it down for yourself. Now notice how you feel when you hear the negative voice. How does it make you feel? I love this wheel, and I just saw it on a friend's Instagram. Isn't that funny? I just saw it. Somebody made this into an Etsy print. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's one of my very, very favorite things because it starts with the root feelings that we're all pretty familiar with in the middle: sad, mad, scared, joyful, powerful, peaceful. And then it separates them into more specific feelings as the further out on the wheel that you go. So really get clear about what feeling it is that you have related to your goal or reflection. Pick one of these words. Next, notice where you feel it in your body. Sometimes we can have emotions land in specific body parts. So perhaps in your shoulder, maybe a pain in your neck, wink, wink, maybe something in your lower extremities. Maybe it's something in your heart, your stomach might feel upset. Maybe you're holding some of that negative emotion in your head. Where do you feel it in your body? Take note of that. And then drift back to an earlier time when you felt the same way, either recently or long ago. So it could be that this is familiar. Like all of a sudden you realize, oh yeah, I remember feeling this way at the end of 2020 or at the end of 2019. Or perhaps I felt this way back when I was a student and felt the pressures of the holidays. Drift back to a time when you felt the same way. Once you have that selected in your mind's eye, or you've written about it in your notebook, then take your stress away, your frankincense and your lavender, or you could take Trauma Life if you want to. Put a drop of each in your palm. So you're going to drop, drop, and drop if you've got the bottles separate. Cup your hands over your nose and mouth. You can close your eyes if you so desire. And just breathe into the essential oil blend. As the scent wafts up to your nose, bring to mind the negative thought, the feeling, where you feel it in your body, and a time when you felt the same way. When you feel your body start to shift, maybe it physically shifts, maybe your mind or emotions shift, maybe you start to kind of think about something else, write that down. Take note of that insight that's coming to you. Slowly but surely, you're opening up the communication between yourself and your inner guidance system. Identify any creative ideas that are related to that goal. That help push you forward. And then go back to your original intention or goal. I'm calling it an intention because some of you may have used this time for reflection. Some of you may be using it to goal set, and others of you may just be experiencing just this sort of overwhelm of emotion because you're taking some stuck energy and you're shifting it just by our process tonight. Something that's helpful for me as a facilitator as we go into this next time is I would love to see in the chat the number that you started with, your confidence number. How confident were you when you first started tonight with your goal or intention? And as we head into round two, did you notice a shift? Did it uptick one or two numbers? Maybe you felt at the beginning like you weren't super confident. Maybe it was like a 2 or a 3. And maybe now you made just a small shift and now you're more like a 4 on a scale from 0 to 10. So show us the first number with a dash and then the next number so that as a facilitator, I can kind of go, oh, wow, Christina, I like read your mind. 2 to a 4 or 0 to a 1. It doesn't have to be anything crazy big. I would just love to know if you're participating and how you're kind of gauging your participation based on the confidence that you felt when you started to where you ended after that first session, that first time through. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Lou. Thanks, Taylor. Yep. It's great to get those responses in there. All right, let's go for another round. I'm going to put the slides up because I think visually it helps you track where you're at. When I'm in person with people, I just sort of talk through it, but the slides will help direct you as my voice does. I'm going to give a little bit more pause this time, less talking, more writing and reflecting to help your process move along. So let's go from there. So after you've said your intention again, your goal, listen for the negative voice that tells you this is not possible. And then notice how you feel when you hear the negative voice. Notice where you feel that emotion in your body. Drift back to an earlier time when you felt the same way, either recently or long ago. Now you can use the same blend again of lavender, frankincense, and stress away, or this time you could grab trauma life or inner child would be a good one for round 2 as well. Cup your hands over your nose and mouth, and then just breathe in the essential oil. Breathe it into the negative thought, to the feeling, where you feel it in your body, and a time that you felt the same way, either recently or long ago. See what happens to the image, to the thoughts, feelings, and your body as you breathe in the essential oils. Notice any new beliefs that are starting to emerge and identify creative ideas related to your intention. So this time, state your intention aloud and rate it on a scale from 0 to 10 again. And if you wouldn't mind, you can take that down in your notes, but then in the chat, if you would just tell me, again, maybe you started at a 0 and you moved to a 3, and maybe now you're a 4 or a 6. I would love to know where you ended up on this round in the chat. All right, let's go through it one more time. Writing down that intention, bringing it to mind, and listening for the negative voice that's still in the back of your mind telling you, this could never happen. This is not possible. How do you feel when you hear the negative voice? think it's important in round 3 that we always note that sometimes the negative voice actually spurs us to action, that maybe now we feel a little bit more determined, more empowered, more appreciated, more thankful, more secure, more optimistic. So keep in mind when you hear the negative voice, what your feeling is, where you feel that in your body. So get really clear about where that feeling is landing in your body. And then drift back to an earlier time when you felt the same way, either recently or long ago. And again, if the feeling that you're having is more confident or determined, and another time that you were able to rely on some of that inner strength that you have. And then take an essential oil. You could use these again. You could also use release oil if you've already gotten the feelings kit. You could use forgiveness oil. You could use Digest from your premium starter kit, your 12 oils and a diffuser bundle. Rub the oil over your hands, cup your hands over your nose and mouth, and then just breathe in, breathing into the feeling, where you feel it in your body, time when you felt the same way, and that negative thought. Bring them all together in your mind's eye and just breathe the oil in, allowing the dissolving to take place. As you release the old patterning of the negative thought, and the feeling, and the body, start to notice what's replacing it. Maybe you're beginning to think of actions that you can take to move the needle on your goal. Maybe you're considering what it would look like to redesign or become a more vocal part of yourself, or a determined part self. But what is related to your intention? Start to write that down. Let the old be cleared out and the new become the focus. I appreciate everybody commenting. It's awesome to see the growth that's happening, breakthroughs that you're experiencing. Go back and state your original intention aloud, and rate it again on a scale from 0 to 10. And put those 4 numbers in the chat, so I can kind of keep record of kind of where you're ending up. Yeah, more determined, more confident. It's awesome to hear that feedback. Perhaps your numbers are recording that as well, that all of a sudden you're like, oh, I thought it was a 3 and now I'm a 7, or I'm an 8, 9, or 10. Sometimes we just have to get out of our own way to make this happen. And a quick 20-minute session with our oils can positively impact our next best steps. So now we seek affirmation and guidance to end our time together. We're getting close to 6 o'clock, so I'm aware of that, and we'll end pretty close to that pinpointed number. To really kind of listen into yourself, to create an affirmation that expresses a new, more positive belief. It may be a version of your intention, and it may be something completely different. It could be that your affirmation, and an affirmation, just so we're on the same page, is a present tense, usually I am statement. I also like affirmations that begin with I create, I choose, I design, I wonder, I am. A new positive belief that cements in the work that you've done over the last 20 minutes to shift old patterns of thinking and begin to embrace new patterns of thinking. A super affirmation, and Dr. PERKUS has a different name for it, but a super affirmation you can use, especially if your affirmation is about doing something, if you have an action attached to it. And a super affirmation that you can create is I feel confident in my smile as I blank, whatever that task is, as I reach out to make more friend connections, as I plan my holiday gathering with friends and family, as I go to the gym daily. So this is a quick kind of sentence stem to create an affirmation. I feel a positive motion in my body, a place in your body, not in my body, but in my smile, in my shoulders, in my posture, in my in my legs, okay, as I do a task. And so to end our time, we say an affirmation, whatever one you've created just now. You may need some more time to come back and get the affirmation down exactly the way you want, but for all intents and purposes, say the affirmation that you just wrote down. You can take transformation or believe. I actually pulled valor for tonight. Put a drop or two in your palm. My valor is almost gone, so I put a drop or two in my palm. I'm going to rub it up and down my arms, kind of like angel wings. And I'm standing up for those of you who can't see me. I'm standing because of the research that's been done that standing in a power pose for 2 minutes every day brings about more feelings of confidence just by standing. So your hands can be on your hips, your arms can be outstretched over your head. You may choose a prayer position. Typically though, you're up, you're anchored, feet are solid on the ground, and you have some sort of positioning that allows for strength to kind of emanate from you. And this is the position, your power pose is the position that you share your affirmation with the world. The world meaning your personal world. So kind of who's around you. So I'll give you a little space and time after you've put on your anchoring oil, stood in your power pose, say your affirmation out loud. Breathe into the truth of it. Determine the words that feel right to you to say, even if they're not the ones you wrote down. And lock in on the fact that you have taken time tonight to use your essential oils to bring about shift and change in a positive way in your life in order to go out and be and share a better version of yourself. Super grateful that you were part of this tonight. Let me just wrap by saying thank you. If you have written down your affirmation, and you want to share it with us just for accountability, I'd love to see those in the chat and just celebrate that with you as we wrap our call. And then in your notes, write down 2 or 3 actions that you can take in the next 30 minutes or in the next 48 hours to accomplish what you set out to do tonight. So remember the quote at the beginning that a dream without an end date is just a dream, right? It becomes a goal. And then a goal becomes reality because you're putting steps to it. So give yourself a few action steps that you can take next to make the plan happen. And enjoy just sort of reveling in that a little bit for your evening. I also highly recommend that you use a Post-it pad, write down your affirmation, take your goil, the goal oil that you use to end tonight, up to your bathroom. And when you brush your teeth tonight, say your affirmation again in your power pose before you go to sleep. Do it again when you wake up in the morning, assuming that you're brushing your teeth morning and night. Do it again, and allow that new thought process to anchor into your current reality. If this is your first experience with essential oils, I don't want you to leave without understanding that you can unlock a 24% off discount. You just need to talk to the person who invited you to this call tonight so that they can help you determine what makes the most sense for your first order and get connected to their team. You can subscribe to different products every month if that's an easier system for you to unlock the 24% off, or you can spend $100 in your first order. And these are some of the oils that we used tonight and talked about tonight that may be in your shopping cart when you're first getting started. If you are a longtime member and you choose to add the feelings collection to your subscribe to save, or grab onto the feelings kit with some rewards points that you choose to redeem. It's a great kit to have along. Some of the oils that we discussed tonight are in it, and some other ones are in it as well. And they're just some really great oils for supporting emotional well-being. These are some of the kind of freebies that you can get. At 100 PV, you get free shipping, and then 190, 250, and 300. There are other products added on. This month, it's all about vitality oils, and the person who's enrolling you can give you more highlights about each of these and what's beneficial. Reminder that you can text the word, the letters AFT to my text line 623-439-4910 to get more information about getting started with the Aroma Freedom Group. If this was exciting to you or inspiring to you and you want to dive in more deeply, that's the best way to get started. If you don't have oils and you just kind of showed up here tonight, you can go to livingwellnow.com/AFT, and I have a link there to really simply put the oils together in a bundle and check out. And then if you want to get connected to Dr. PERKUS and his certification program, you can go to aromafreedom.com. That's his landing page for all the offerings that he has, including his book, The Aroma Freedom Technique. Y'all, I am so super grateful that you are here tonight. Living Well Now does inspire to help others live their healthiest lives and build successful businesses. We do that through training and education each and every week. It's our pleasure to pass along just a few little highlights of things that we have learned, and we are incredibly grateful to all of you for participating and for being part of our chat tonight. Thank you from the bottoms of our hearts.
Thanks, Ange. Thanks everybody who joined on YouTube and also live on the Living Well Now lifestyle group. And here's to each of us just walking forward courageously. Ange, you rocked it. Everybody else for being here. Thanks for being here and rocking it. And I feel lighter and stronger. I don't know about you all.
Super fun.
Thanks,
it's a good one. It's a
good
one. Thank you.
What are you doing next, Ange?